What is going on, everybody? We are rocking that classic look today. This camera angle is the camera angle that pretty much started it all. Today we are doing the TRD rear sway bar first drive. Now, I've had TRD sway bars in the past, but this truck has a little more aggressive tires. It's the Crew Max, which I've always said. I've had 4 double cabs. To me, the Crew Max seems heavier, it seems top heavy, and it seems like it has a little sway because of wind and whatnot. So even in a straight line, this sway bar should help me out a little bit, but also there are some pretty decent turns at the end of my journey as I go to run. So we will see how this thing does. I haven't moved it yet. That's a lie. I moved it out to this spot right here in front of the house because I had to move the FRS to get the truck, but not enough to get any kind of actual feel for it. So here we go. One thing is, I put this sway bar on Saturday, and if you guys watched my live feed that I did on Saturday, I told you I was getting off the live feed and I'm going to fix my bathroom. Was having like a plumbing issue. Okay, well, that plumbing issue just got resolved about 20 minutes ago, and it's 2:20 in the afternoon. I had to call in a plumber, whole 9 yards. It is now Monday afternoon, so I really haven't driven this thing at all. So we're heading out now to the road, the main road, and then we're gonna head for a run, like I said, and we'll talk about this sway bar. I have some expectations. Like I said, it really helps with the body roll. It helps with, just cornering in general. Everything about doing turns in this truck becomes a lot easier because of the sway bar. It really, really helps with the body roll. When people ask me the best thing the sway bar is for, body roll. Because the Tundra is known since the 07 Tundra, yep, just that one turn right there, the rear feels a lot tighter. And there's that supercharger, which I haven't driven this truck since, I think it was last Thursday was the last time I drove this, because I've been trying to drive the FRS a little bit too. But overall, the sway bar just helps the truck feel better in so many different ways when it comes to handling. It feels more planted. I mean, if you have, people always ask me, can you get a sway bar if you have a lift? I think you can get it if you have a minor lift, but if you have like a 6 foot, if you have a 6 foot lift, wow. If you have like a 6-inch lift or anything like that, I don't think the TRD sway bar is for you. This is more for your stock height or maybe just a pinch above. And there's also people who tell me they read that you can't have a TRD sway bar if you have the TRD Pro suspension. Well, folks, I have the TRD Pro suspension and I have the TRD sway bar. I think the reason they say that is because the TRD suspension is meant for, off-roading. So you get like a good amount of you want to get a good amount of articulation out of your suspension and everything like that. And let's be honest, the sway bar would definitely limit that. Coming up to an accident in the road, so that should mean, at least there's no traffic. But anyway, like I said, so if you're gonna go like crawl over rocks or do some crazy off-road stuff, you're gonna need your tires to come up off the, come out of their normal range they would on a road. So that might affect your articulation and bring your tire up in the air. Hence, it would ruin all of your traction off-road because you'd have a tire in the air. So that would be one thing it would be negative for. Another thing is, if you're going to off-road with the sway bar, just a little FYI for you. As you can see, I'll put a picture up at the end of this, but the sway bar sits up by the differential on the axle, and there is a space between it. So if you're going to be doing something with like heavy-duty rocks or anything like that, you want to be careful, because that's a pretty serious accident there. It's like somebody blew a light. Whoop. Anyway, because if you're going to be off-roading and you don't want like a big rock or something to kick up and get caught in between the actual axle and the sway bar, or even worse, a big rock kicks up and tries to rip off the sway bar. You don't want to deal with any of that. That's a lot of money, a lot of damage. So if you're going to be doing heavy duty off-roading, I do not recommend this part. But if your truck is going to spend, 95% of its life on road, like most of us, you're going to want to look into this part, because it is one heck of a windy day. And I'm going into the wind right now. So any Tundra owner can tell you, when you're driving into the wind, when the wind is head on to you, you can definitely feel this truck move around a lot, especially if you have me. I got the TRD Pro suspension, so I got the front end lifted up a tad, and you could really feel the wind then, but the truck doesn't even feel like there's any wind hitting me in the nose right now. So overall, the TRD sway bar is a big time win, and it's only between $250 and $300. You know, there's a lot more expensive things to buy, but this is a great price for something that does so much for the handling. Don't forget, use my promo code TundraDude34 at Sparks Parts. They have these in stock. Go get them. Now, if you didn't see my video yesterday, make sure you go check it out. I will put the link at the end of this video. It was basically putting this sway bar on. We did an installation video. It is such a simple install. I feel like it's one of those really good parts for someone to get started on. If you never installed anything on a car or truck, the TRD instructions that come with it are really good. You know, you got the pictures, you got an explanation of every single thing you have to do. That's one good thing about TRD. All the parts they send you, you get instructions with it. Even if they recommend professional installation, they still give you instructions with it. So what I'm doing now, in a minute here, we are going to be going through a series of turns, okay? And that's really what the sway bar, where it's gonna shine for you, is when you're doing those lower speed turns, at least in my opinion. The lower speed turns are where you really get jarred around the cabin. I mean, not like stop and turn, but you know, when you're rolling about 20 miles an hour, maybe 25 miles an hour, and you're going through turns, you really get pulled to one side or the other when you're in this truck. So the sway bar, like I said, keeps the truck planted, really helps with the stability, helps with the old body roll and the sway bar. So here's one of those turns right now that usually will pull me across the truck. And you can definitely tell that the truck stays a lot more planted for sure. Usually around that turn, I'm, you know, kind of being pulled to one side. We got massive wind. You guys can't see the water right now, but I can. This is going to be a terrible run. This is going to be a pointless jog. So now we're about to come through another series of turns, and these are kind of the turns I was speaking of with this. I believe the speed we were going to go around the turns is, I don't know, maybe 25 miles an hour, maybe 30 miles an hour. But what it's going to be is it's going to be, you know, kind of that same idea where it's going to pull you to one side if it's a bad, you know, if you have, there we go. Yeah, there's still a little bit of pull, but nothing crazy. I got a really slow car in front of me that kind of ruined what I wanted to do there. But we're coming up to another turn now. These are the turns where I said I need a sway bar, by the way. These ones that are like super slow. The person in front of me is like braking mid-turn where you absolutely don't need to. So I'm not really sure why. Still doing it. But at that speed, I didn't get pulled around at all. But yeah, like I said, oh, good. Turning 2. This is a win. So yeah, this is another one of those turns there. It's the low speed turns where I see, you know, the handling a real issue for the Tundra. And what I mean by that is, all the Tundra owners will agree with me here. If you don't own a Tundra and you're watching this, this is something you need to take a test drive for, because, again, my opinion, of course, but at lower speed is where this truck gets a little crazy. When you're going around turns, like I said, around 20 miles an hour, around curves, you really get pulled side to side. Again, I feel like in the Crew Max is a little heavier up top. So for me, this sway bar is going to do wonders. I'm pumped about it. It is my third. I really enjoy the sway bar. The only time I won't get the sway bar is if I ever do some crazy lift, or if I ever plan to do some pretty serious off-roading, and then again, I would not get the sway bar for those reasons. But even at that turn there, it didn't pull me out of the seat. So I'm definitely happy with my purchase. Let me know what you think. First impression drive over, I give it some enthusiastic thumbs up, and that person I was just following behind that was going super slow just pretty much blew a stop sign and almost pulled out in front of me. We are winning as far as traffic goes. Good stuff. I'm glad everyone's paying attention on the road. Twitter and Instagram at TundraDude34. Let me know what you think about the TRD sway bar, or if you have any questions, hit me up, and thank you for watching.